Hello everyone and welcome back to the live coverage of YCS Milan. We have the round 7 feature match ready for you now, and we've got two duelists that are technically undefeated, only sporting one draw. First, Matteo, please take your seat. This is going to be a great match, and we also have Quentin Royer. Come on in. How are you doing today?
Hi, fine, and you?
Yes, not too bad, thank you. How is your tournament going?
Actually, very well. Like the community, very cool and kind. I had so much fun and I learned something today. So anyway, if I lose all my match, I think I can go like grower. It's not the world, but I think you understand.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're having a good time. Did you think you'd do this well this morning?
Yeah, not bad, very not bad.
Okay, well, if you'd like to take your seat and get ready to roll the dice, you're going to love this, guys. Let's get started. I'm going to throw you over to our casters, Marcello and Alberto.
Welcome to round 8 of YCS Milan 2019. It is going to the end of day 1, and the more we go, the more we have interesting decks for you guys and better players as well.
Exactly.
So
for this match, we decided to pick two different decks that we have never seen before so far.
Absolutely.
So on one side, Matteo is playing what we decided to call.
I mean, we basically what happened is Matteo is quite a known player, especially in Italy, but you might have seen him around. He's a close friend of Mirko Zanelli and all of those players from the, let's say, northern Italy. But today, he felt like picking up the cards that he could find around, like laying in old deck boxes, and he made a deck out of that, a 60-card deck out of that, which I would have no idea how to define.
My first Yu-Gi-Oh deck.
Yeah, probably. But it does make sense. It's working out for him. He's undefeated, and it's still a combo deck. He plays mostly around Ib, so making some synchro summons and then using the guard dragons, but it's literally at least 4 different engines in it and somehow working out. But his opponent is also on a combo deck, but a completely different one.
Yeah, and on the other side, we have BA, Burning Abyss. It has not disappeared since the last, it
has been 5 years. Like it was actually in YCS Milan back in 2014, where Burning Abyss were not first released because they were already legal in London, but like the new cards and the deck become really strong, almost taking the event against Daniele Stella in the finals, but this time it's the Sekka's Light version, so another crazy combo deck with the block dragon and all of the rock monsters, where you're able to end with like Naturia Beast, Beatrice, so it's both of these guys just going completely crazy, and I mean, it is working out for them.
Yeah, and so exciting to see this match. I can't wait to see it.
Absolutely, but now we'll see, because none of these guys play Antrops. Who will have the best combos? Let's go. Okay, so nice handshake there, and as you can see, there are already some interesting cards in Matteo's deck.
Yeah, some cards we have never seen in the last weeks, we can say. Dragon Shrine was one of the cards we was played in the Blue Eyes deck a couple of years ago. And he can actually send at least 10 different targets in this deck. He has a lot of targets. So basically, Matteo's deck is built with Dangerous card, Dinosaurs, Rockets card, and I mean he has a lot of different archetypes in there, and
absolutely, as you can see here, the Supreme King comes down and the Aiello. As I was saying, the goal of this deck is to make Ib the Justicar as soon as possible, and as you can see, he already is able to go for it, because Ib alone is such a powerhouse. You can basically end on the full board with the Apollousa if you want, so it's a very strong deck, and as you can see, it's also full of touches. He drew Twin Twister and Cold Body Grave, so.
And as you were saying before, none of these players are playing end traps at all. So I mean, now Matteo is he really can combo off
He can combo off freely. At the same time, though, although Quentin does not play Entrops, as you can see, he's maining triple Kaiju, and he drew one of them, so that might help with breaking Matteo's board. Let's just see. I'm not gonna pretend I know which end board this deck is able to make. It just depends on whether Matteo wants to go for it and play around the Nibiru. He doesn't know what his opponent is playing. And what I was saying to Matt before this match was, the funny thing about this one is that both of these guys will think that they were picked for a future match because of their deck, and they have no way to know that their opponent is actually also the reason why they're here. So.
And still a 60-card deck is still rocking. Like back in the days, you know, Paleozoic was one hell of a deck. I mean, like 60-card was really incredible. And
with the grass looks greener, but I mean,
both of these guys are still undefeated. Pretty looking good for both of them.
Yeah, the grass is still looking pretty good for Matteo. So he's gonna use the effect to just move the zone so they can use the LP, and Bro Tower hits the field. So I'm gonna bring out for you guys one of the cards that you might not know about. This is there because Matteo is using a huge rocket engine, and it is not actually the card you want to open. You want to rather search it, but it's up there. It's an extender and it's a field spell. So.
Yeah, and it's also good to bring back monsters you have in the graveyard, and it really helps out your combo.
If you were wondering, as I was saying, the end board, it's quite complicated. It is playing the Dragon Unity Knight, so he can search for the Raven if he wants to do that. But usually what you will see is the number 38, the Erratic Seals, and Apollosa. So those three cards are what Matteo is trying to go for. And as you can see here, the Dragonity hits the field.
Another thing we could say that, which I really found pretty interesting, is that how do you use, I mean, Quentin in this case is not using Entrops, but how would you deal with a deck that you don't know? I mean, when would you activate Entrops if you have never played against such a deck?
It's tough, and it is one of the reasons why I think both of these guys are doing that well. Entrops in general aren't that obvious to use unless it's like an Ash Blossom on an Extravagance, I'd say. But against a deck where you have no idea what's happening, it was one of the main reasons why Vladis was having so much success with Gem Knight FTK in a format in which Entrops were popular. It was just that people had no idea at all on where to use them, and here the situation is quite similar. So
as we were saying before, there are the top decks of the meta, but if a player decides to pick a different deck and has the fortune to arrive to this, to this top of the event and is, undefeated, and another player must face him, this is gonna be like really tough for him,
Absolutely. And here, as you can see, some of the unique cards from Matteo's deck, which he's able to send always consistently thanks to Dragon, to the Raven, to the Shrines. So it's 60-card deck, but it's quite consistent. So.
Yeah, as you can see, Matteo is now using all his resources, but his field looks really huge.
Absolutely, and there are still a lot of ways to go for this. He's also playing the Saruya, which he can go for. I don't really like it too much because you don't need to go for that.
No, at this moment I will not summon it.
Usually you go for it if you're searching for a missing combo piece, but it seems like he has everything he needs. He would have liked to have a little extra rocket cards, but he's good to go. So Apollousa hits the field. It's only 1600, so with 2 negations, but nothing to take out of the picture.
So now Quentin he can just look at Matteo's combo.
He's starting to read some of the cards. Of course, here is where the Striker Dragon comes in, and I'm gonna try and bring out all of the cards that might be less known for you guys. As you can see, this card adds the boots, which he already has, unfortunately. This will get you the boot sector launch directly from your deck, which he will not be able to do here. And it is just an extender in a way, because at that point you can abuse the cars you sent to the graveyard before, which are the Galactic Spiral Dragon and the Router, which is this one over here.
And it's also quite relevant the fact that he has the arrow that points on the left, so
yeah,
he has another zone.
And now the thing is, if your opponent didn't use Entrops before, there is a good chance they don't have any, but Apollousa is there to prevent all of them.
Yeah, number 38.
Yeah,
a huge field from Matteo.
Absolutely. Now the switch of the field spells and the special summon. So here are the new rocket cards from the structure deck. So you can destroy one of your own to get a summon directly from the deck, which allows you to then go for the Erratic Seal if you want to go that direction, potentially. So we'll see. It's possible also to go for an XYZ. So it's a deck full of options, and the really cool thing about it is that going second, it can push a lot of damage, make bottle load, bottle sword. So it's nothing to take away from Matteo. And yeah, it's a pretty impressive ending board, I would say.
Here comes the Savage Dragon.
Easy done. It seems like he might be, but...
And he has also the Twin Twister just in case.
Yeah, at the same time, he doesn't know what his opponent is playing.
Yeah.
And the number 38 will actually be pretty good because Sekkas is drawn.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it would have been completely useless in this matchup.
Such a huge field from Matteo, which has now, you can negate a spell trap card. He has Apollousa, he has Savage Dragon, he has Twin Twister. I mean, it's useless, but
yeah, he basically has 4 negations plus the Twin Twister, which doesn't do much, as you were saying, but 4 negations is pretty good. I would be interested in knowing when, or if there is a specific time or matchup in which he rather goes for the Erratic Seal, because it seems like that's also really good against a deck like Quentin's.
Yeah.
Here they're giving him translations.
Yeah, translation.
It is something that we might see often during this duel, to be fair, because although Burning Abyss cards are known, these specific builds are unique, and they don't surprise us too much, though.
Exactly.
Because
also you don't want to make mistakes at all. I mean, you're playing against such a deck, you don't want to make mistakes.
Yeah. And let's see if he can pick up some interruptions. So it's a monster, not a surprise.
Maybe he drew the Giant Rex. Maybe.
Could be. It's 37 monsters and 3 spells for
him. No, okay.
It's the Libic, I think, right?
Yeah.
So now, where do you kaiju, and when, especially? Do you just go for it? Do you use, I don't know, it's
This
tough.
is gonna be really tough for Quentin, because
the 38 also has a second effect, which is the kind of like Utopia, the attacking effect, which protects the Apollousa at the same time. So it's quite annoying.
Okay, so he decides to go for Libic.
Yeah. And here you can see Matteo already like thinking what's going on. I'm really up against this deck after 5 years. And the new...
Okay, and here comes the new Link Monsters, the Trouble of the Burning Abyss.
Yeah, so Cherubini hits the field. Graph is going to be negated by Apollousa, and there is a chance that the Cherubini will also be negated.
Yeah.
So... let's see. It is not cost to send, so it is to send like the first is. So you send as cost and you target the Cherubini, so you can only negate the first part, and it means that the Apollousa will most likely ignore it and then negate the Rhino if he feels like it.
So I think he has some solutions here, Quentin. Like, for example, he could summon the Farfa. It will be a good option, also because he has the Commanders in hand.
I think he's on a break right now, so Farfa will not be able to come and help us. Yeah, like I like how your reaction was on spot, like 20 minutes later. But Anyway.
Okay, so now here comes the Farfa.
Yeah. And Gallis comes down, Tom Rowe's favorite card.
I don't.
Not so much for Michael Forner, but let's see. Kumongos is milled, so some free damage. It's never something
Michael
to take.
Forner that is, is playing.
Oh yeah, that's no. There is a big story of the weekend, which we will tell you about right now, and we hopefully will see it later. So, before this event, Michael Forner, which a lot of you might know, made a bet with a friend where it was basically Michael Forner always plays strange decks. His friend was like, "Can you really top this event with Lightsworn?" And Michael Forner is actually playing Lightsworn and is at the moment undefeated as well. So we might see a Lightsworn in top cut as well. But for now, let's actually stick to this one. Cerberus comes down, trying to force out the negation and discarding the block dragon. One of the most, probably the best card in this deck.
I think Matteo's end was really good, but on the other side, like I think he was not expecting a deck like this, right? Because like it really had a good starting hand, but on the other side, Quentin has a lot of resources, you know.
And now the Kaiju comes down, meaning that the Sekka slide is gonna be there. What is he gonna draw? Perfectly played by Quentin.
You can see smiling.
Yeah, you can see his friends cheering him up. Unfortunately, he picks up another Sekkas, which is really
another copy of Farfa. Oscar, it was Cars. Okay.
Yeah, the new rarity ones. He's gonna be forced to actually go and fish for something else. What can he pick up? Probably the Rock Engine. So
yeah, because he already did the normal summon.
Yeah.
He really needs something out of this deck.
Let's see what he can draw. He needs some help. What will come from the top? The third Sekka. This is unbelievable.
This is so unfortunate.
Such an unfortunate series of draws here from Quentin. You gotta feel bad for him. He's gonna try his best here, but this is actually unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, what he needed was a monster, and what surprised me the most is playing 37 monsters and only 3 spells.
Actually
That's
crazy.
the point.
Like the chance of him drawing back to back the Shusekai is like probably
less,
some
like
thousands.
1%, maybe?
No, it's a lot less.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like if there are 30 cards, it's 1 out of
2 out
of 30,
it's
1
like,
out of 29. It's like insanely low. And yeah, here he's gonna try and fish for one more.
He doesn't have any spell left, at least.
Yeah. Possibly. Maybe the 4th Sekka will appear. What does he get? So he can get the double Gigantes here. And he will get a card as well.
This is probably a card that one of the first cards ever printed in this game, right?
Yeah, it's one of the oldest one. He gets a draw. He cannot draw any more spells. What is he gonna get?
Gallis.
Gallis, which at least is guaranteed to hit the field now, because there are no more spell and traps. Can he mill something useful? It's a Jackalope, not so much. But the double Gigantes here is able to push through, and you can see how powerful this deck is. Yeah. Through 4 negations, he was able, thanks to the Kaiju, to just keep on pushing through. And even though the draws from Sekka were probably the worst in his entire deck, he's still fighting. So,
can you really believe this deck is still alive after 5 years? I mean, it's been a while. But you know what? I think Quentin has a chance to deal a lot of damages here.
Absolutely, because the Appaloosa is 0 attack.
Yeah, it's 0 attack. This is gonna be
so technically this could be an easy game unless the fuel spell has a secret effect, which I'm gonna just quickly check. But it doesn't seem so, because it can only be activated during your turn. So it might be actually possible to push for game here. Want to double check everything, but with the other Gigantes, this might be an option. Can't you just go for it? Yeah, it just goes for it.
Can you really believe Quentin was able to not only to go through 4 negations, but also to have a Borswood and another monster?
Absolutely unbelievable. Quentin playing it perfectly and
overwhelming from Quentin. Really well played.
Yeah, he's gonna destroy completely whatever Matteo built and struggled to build, and pushing so much damage.
Yeah. I mean, besides drawing the 2 copies of Seca's Light, he was anyway able to go through the entire board of Matteo.
He didn't even need to pick up his cards, and
yeah,
Matteo picks up his cards. Wow, what a game!
Really well played by Quentin. Really well played.
Fantastic shows of skill and knowledge of his deck, and you can see, even though he's showing that he picked up those Secas, what an unbelievable play. And Matteo cannot even complain because he had a really good opening and he just chose to do whatever he wanted, and in the end it was not enough.
Yeah, this is going to be funny regarding the side decks, because those 2 players are playing against, you know, 2 different completely deck.
Yeah.
And I mean, generic cards that could be sided in could be, for example, you know, Nibiru, because, you know, Matteo's deck
Sure.
deals a lot of monsters, and on the other side,
yeah, I mean, the big problem here is that one of them is playing 60, which means that when you side deck, you're not gonna see the cards as often. And for example, what he has access to is Dark Lure No More, Pancratops, Impermanence, but that's about it. And he needs to pick up those in 60 cards.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Quentin has a Sekka deck, which means it's quite likely that he can pick up his side deck cards.
Yeah.
And he has Nibiru, Ash, Didi Crow, Pancratops, even more Kaiju. So like he can side 12 cards against Matteo. And maybe it is gonna be Quentin's turn to just complete this day 1 with an undefeated record.
Yeah, I mean, I think Matteo is going to side out the Twin Twisters. I mean, just the Twin Twisters, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense to side out the other cards, you know?
It's definitely the one you do side out, and it was the card that in the end really costed in the game, because if that would have been something else, maybe Matteo could have taken it. I think we are safe to assume that these guys are always gonna go first, no matter what.
Yeah.
Their deck are built to just combo and ignore whatever your opponent is throwing at you.
So I was just noticing that Quentin is playing a lot of end traps in the side deck. So
yeah.
I think he's also prepared for this matchup, although it's not easy. But anyway,
we'll see. The big question is the Nibirus as well. If Matteo's deck is built to play around them, can he bring out the Appaloosa first? Because if he can't, then it's getting tough.
Yeah.
So, let's just wait and see what happens. Quentin having something like 4 Kaijus and 10 Antrops in his deck at the moment.
He has a lot of cards.
So he has a lot of useful cards in this matchup. Let's take a look at these hands. It doesn't seem like there are way too many Antrops in Quentin's.
Yeah, I think he doesn't have that many. Oh, he has
but
Nibiru.
Nibiru is there. Nibiru is picked up by Quentin.
Nibiru is there.
That's going to be a huge deal. Can Matteo's deck combo through Nibiru? And both of these guys are looking incredible.
Pretty good. I mean, like, Matteo has a really good hand here.
Yeah, the quick launch is the best card you can draw of the rocket engine. The Mistelano as well is just another extender. The Wyver Buster is at 1 for quite some reasons. And it seems like this hand is super powerful, but my big question is, can he play through it? So, he goes just like we expected for the Ib, which is guaranteed to be pretty much what you first see in every opening from Matteo.
Yeah, as we previously seen, Matteo is going for the standard combo here.
Yeah.
But let's see if he plays around Nibiru.
Yeah, because this is already 3 summons.
Yeah.
He needs to summon something back, so I think it's tough for him to play through
But
Nibiru.
again, if you were Quentin, when would you activate the Nibiru?
It's a tough question. Probably right before your opponent can summon the Appaloosa. It is something that we have seen, I believe, with Joshua Smith in London, where he, or like, was it Ghent? I don't remember. But I remember the future match where
it was,
he
I
held,
think it was Ghent, yeah.
he held this Phantasme, but then the Appaloosa hit the field and he never got a chance to use it. So you should always be careful of when is my opponent going to summon the Appaloosa, and probably react accordingly, to be fair. And now it seems like we are getting close to the time where you might just wanna go for an Nibiru.
Yeah, I think it will maybe come.
I think you can wait for the Guard Dragon chain, and as soon as your opponent just bring out like 4 monsters, 3 monsters, or have the chance to summon the Appaloosa, you just go for Nibiru.
Yeah. So, and I think now, I mean, he's doing the combo he did previously.
Yeah.
So he will have other 3 monsters on the field, and in that moment, he can use the Nibiru.
Absolutely. You just need to be careful. And at the same time, if he starts to bring out the Guard Dragons, then you're safe, because you cannot Appaloosa once the Guard Dragon is face up, so not being a dragon. And the Wyver Buster comes down. And here it's where the Nibiru might have, because if he doesn't use Nibiru here, he's gonna get Appaloosa, and
that's what
this is a big, big misstep by Quentin.
Yeah, I mean, as we were saying before, he should have considered to activate the Nibiru before.
He should have absolutely used it. So now he's in trouble. He might have not stopped Matteo turn entirely, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because you get a token, you get the collapse, you still have the World Legacy Guard Dragon in hand, but you are never gonna be able to Nibiru again. So you should have 100% used it there. Unless, of course, Matteo, for whatever reason, decides to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Which is something that we've seen with his friend, Mirko
have
Zanelli. So let's hope that they are friends, but they have different ideas.
Different approaches.
Yeah. Or like they agree to disagree, let's say. And I think we're just going to see the exactly same thing as before.
Yeah, this is the same thing as before.
Probably without the 38, but now that I look at his extra deck, this space is extremely tight. And I don't really see a backup plan. That I think it's the only way that he can use that, because the erratic seal is also weird in the way that he can only tribute if he's in the extra monster zone.
Yeah.
So
nothing Quentin can do right now at the moment. You can just see Matteo come off.
Yeah, it's a shame, because if this goes to game 3 and then he loses, he will keep on thinking, what would have happened if I used Nibiru earlier? So, I mean, it's understandable
standard
in a way.
combo,
So.
standard combo here from Matteo. Are you still surprised BA is still rocking after 5 years?
Absolutely, and I really like also these engines where they lost a lot of the Guard Dragon's power, with Agar Pain being gone, basically.
Yeah.
But this new card right here, Star Liege Seifert, is one of the reasons why we saw players of the caliber of like Jesse Cotton, even Raphael Neven, using a particular version of the deck last weekend in Pasadena.
Yeah. And as we were saying before, playing different decks that nobody really knows how to play against, it gives you huge advantages in this kind of tournament, you know.
Yeah. And still today, there are, outside of Matteo, there are multiples combo players. So
things are really looking good for Matteo at the moment. There's not that much that Quentin can do.
yeah, even though we shouldn't take anything away from Quentin, because in game 1,
It was
I think everyone would have thought that Matteo was ahead, but not only did he get extremely unlucky with the Sekkas, he OTK'd, so
he was able to go through the entire field of Matteo,
yeah.
which was crazy.
And now the Levianeer comes down. It has been a while since we saw the last Levianeer, when this deck was probably the most popular at the European Championship, where our playoffs for the World Championship were basically almost entirely Thunder Dragon decks. But here, months later,
which we haven't seen this day. The Thunder Dragon.
Yeah. And this is the new age. I really enjoy it. I mean, the Link, especially the newest Link, which are basically generic.
Yeah, I mean, the new mechanic is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, and it allows you, with some of the generic Links being released lately, it allows you to just take these different engines and create a deck out of them.
Yeah. You can combine different engines and create decks such powerful as Matteo did, you know.
Absolutely, and here is pretty much the same end board as game one, but with one extra negation of the Appaloosa, which is nothing to laugh at. And
okay,
yeah, Quentin has seen enough. He picks up his card. It's 1-1. Quick one.
Yeah, really quick. Yeah, as we were saying previously, if Quentin had activated the Nibiru, maybe it would have caused Matteo some trouble.
Yeah, it's definitely a shame that he didn't see the Appaloosa coming. I would have understood it in game one, because if you play against such a strange deck, you don't know their goal and their ending board, but he saw in game one that the Appaloosa was going to be there, and it seems obvious to me at that point that he was going to go for Appaloosa.
Yeah.
So I would really love to replay that game and just see what would have happened with the Nibiru. Unfortunately, or fortunately for Matteo, we cannot do that.
Yeah.
So we are going to have to move on to game 3. And now we're back to Quentin. It's the first time in the match where he's going to go first, and we are going to get to see what he wants to do. Let's remember that his deck is able to go for Naturia Beast plus Beatrice, and thanks to the Curious.
Yeah, he has a lot of powerful plays, and
even the Abyss Dweller, which is probably the best XYZ in years, I want to say, if not one of the best ever, of the one that we have legal.
Yeah.
And especially in the latest formats, it's the scariest one.
It's one of the scariest one, exactly, and only like Salmon Grade has the capacity to special summon it quite easily, let's say.
Yeah. It was basically the reason how Jesse Cotton won the UDS in Panama with Lunalight. He said that his goal was to just find the deck that could always make a Beast Dweller, and that deck won an entire event. So you can see how powerful a Beast Dweller is. What is your prediction? Is Quentin going to be able to make a good enough board, or will Matteo draw, even though he's playing 60 cards, will he get some of his hand traps?
I think that Matteo really needs to think about what to side in for this third game, because this is not that big and easy, but he has, you know, the Dark Lure no more, which is good, but also the Lancia.
Yeah, I mean, the promos in the, of course, in the teens shocked the world, I gotta say, because like all of them, Nibiru and Dark Lure no more especially, there was a lot of discussions around these cards. They definitely changed the way of deck building in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
And although Nibiru was by far the most popular, Dark Lure no more is such a strong card in decks that only have that weakness. We saw that against Thunder Dragon.
Yeah. It really shut down the Thunder Dragon matchup, for example. Yeah.
It works amazingly against Pendulum, and it might work against Quentin's deck, because you cannot respond to it. So even if he would have ended up with a Naturia Beast, that's not going to be an option.
Yeah. The key point of that card is that you cannot respond to it. So
yeah,
it's really better. It's really good.
Okay, so we are almost ready. We want to hear if the crowd is here. Let's show some support to these guys playing their heart out, and who is going to be undefeated walking into the last round of day one. It's 1 against 1. It's Matteo against Quentin. Italy versus France. Who is going to take it? Our hands are being drawn here. Let's take.
Okay, so let's see if now Quentin has some action here.
Okay, so we take a look at the hands. We start to see the Mathematician, which is one of the best cards to open with. And Sekka's Light as well, Tour Guide, yeah. All of them.
Yes,
Give me all of
a
them.
really huge hand.
And
really
Block
huge.
Dragon as well. This hand is amazing.
Oh, well.
But there is a Lancia.
Lancia. There's a
Lancia from
Lancia.
Matteo could actually help a lot. And the Dark Lure no more. So this is going to be a close one.
This is gonna be really interesting. Okay, so it immediately drops the Lancia. That's fine. So
Yeah, the Lancia comes down, and what is he gonna able to do through the Lancia? We will find out. At least the Beatrice should always be an option. I would be very surprised if it wasn't, because we know that Lancia is by far one of the most popular side deck cards.
yeah,
And yeah, he does pick up a few Burning Abyss monsters, which makes this Beatrice quite easy to made. And the rest of Matteo end doesn't look too great.
Yeah. I mean, Quentin has on his side a really good hand, and he can make Dante and then Beatrice. He has a lot of things. And on the other side, Matteo, I mean, of course he has Dark Ruler no more, but after that, he really needs to special summon the Jackalope after that.
To eat something good with the Jackalope, but let's focus for now on Quentin. The thing is, these decks are quite different from each other, and I'm not too convinced that Matteo can be able to OTK afterwards if he doesn't pick up something very good.
Yeah.
So Dante once more on our screen for 4 years in a row. So milling, Block Dragon, can't complain about
Just
that
fine.
one. Although right now you cannot use it. So
Yeah, we will see soon the Beatrice taking the field.
yeah, one more special summon of the Skarm, which of the Farfetch.
Yeah, this is the new one.
Okay, so now it's another Dante. Definitely having flashbacks to the 2014 YCS Milan. And again, we're here
When we used to make
witnessing.
F-Zero with two Dantes.
Yeah, which was just like, I mean, it kind of was the first Link monster in
Yeah.
a way. It really worked like a Link monster.
Yeah.
Now that you think about it, so maybe there were some ideas planted already in F-Zero back in the day. Now we see one of the few one-offs in Quentin's deck, which is the Edge Imp Saber, which is basically the Plague Sprague of nowadays.
Yeah.
And through the Lancia, it means that he will actually stay there. And Apollousa is something that both of these guys love to make, which is a great opening. Apollousa plus Beatrice through the Lancia. Unfortunately, Dark Lure no more is there to shut down all of this. And let's see if Matteo can pick up one of these good cards. It's Destrudo, which is
good.
actually a good one.
Which is good.
And you can see here how good Dark Lure no more is.
Yeah, I mean, like, it really shuts down everything your opponent has on the field. And but anyway, really, I mean, he has to activate Dark Lure no more, and after that, I will go into Jackalope. So he's not considering his options for sure.
Yeah, it seems like that's a no-brainer to me, but he's definitely thinking about the follow-up. And I don't think, although he's playing 60, I don't think he's playing Mare. Yeah, he's not. I don't wanna.
I think he's not playing it.
Because I saw a Link Kuriboh in the extra deck, but yeah, it doesn't seem like he's playing the Mare. That would have made the Destrudo even better, but as expected, this hit is gonna be super important. The Levianeer gets sniped. What can he pick up here?
Nessie.
It's a Nessie. Oh, a pretty good one once more.
Okay, so
Quentin not gonna be happy.
Once again, another roll.
Yeah, another roll on the danger. He has the option to go for the Tracer as well. But yeah, there goes the Nessie. Very fortunate for Matteo to not only open the Lancia, but the Dark Lure no more in 60 cards. What is he gonna hit? Is the Tracer. Pretty good hit as well.
Which is good.
And he picks up Let me check. I didn't quite see it.
Oh, the
quick
quick
launch.
launch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the quick launch. So the tracer doesn't matter because the quick launch is still the best rocket card you can have in your deck, allowing you to special summon it directly from your deck. But it's also important to remember that when you use Dark Luna no more, your opponent takes no damage. So if this turn takes a lot of time, we might actually see a draw.
Yeah, Matteo has a lot of things going on here, and he really needs to be careful. Okay, so here comes the quick launch. This is gonna be so interesting because at the moment Matteo has a lot of monsters, and
yeah, it seems like Matteo is good to go, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's nothing that Quentin is able to do, and Matteo knows that. The only problem, as I was saying, is the no damage restriction, but if you're able to clear your opponent board and then put up a few negations, possibly even just the erratic could be enough. At the same time, you don't have to forget that Dark Ruler No More only negates the effect of monsters that your opponent controls.
Yeah.
So if you were to get rid of the Beatrice, I believe there is a Farfa under that. So that can be a way to lose this game for Matteo if he forgets about it.
yeah, and he also really needs to remember that only 7 minutes are remaining. So if he wants to activate the Destrudo, he has to be really careful.
Absolutely, because if he gets ahead of himself and uses the Destrudo, forgetting about the no damage for this turn,
Yeah.
it could be a brutal way to lose the game. And here you can see the
Okay.
Farfa being used.
Okay, so he decides to activate Beatrice and for touching for cost the Farfa.
Yeah, very nice play here from Quentin. Because of course the Dark Ruler says that it negates the effects, but you can still activate them and pay the cost. Is that gonna be enough though to stop him?
So now we can special summon back the rocker monster in the graveyard, and I think he's kind of obliged to activate the Destrudo in a certain way. So
Yeah, it's. I mean, it depends how he wants to push here, because you can still get to the Guard Dragon engine.
yeah, I think he's obliged
But
to
yeah,
special
I
summon
think
it.
he's gonna be forced to do that. And the Strudo comes down, making this super risky though, because now he's down 4,000 life points with no way to push damage. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, you gotta be careful because I mean, also the turn after, Quentin has a lot of things that he could do because he has the mathematician, and then Beatrice could special summon.
Yeah,
the
he also
Pilgrim.
has the Block Dragon already in
Yeah.
graveyard. He has the Sekka,
Yeah.
which he can just use to get another draw.
This is, I mean, this could be so risky, only because like almost 5 minutes are left.
So the new Starlia is one more. It's the field, gonna be able to search for maybe the small dragons. It has quite a lot of targets. And what can he even try and go for? That's my question.
Yeah, this is gonna be quite complicated because you can get rid of, for sure, the Appaloosa on Quentin's side, but the Beatrice, it is a huge problem in my opinion.
Yeah, because now, just like we've seen in the past games, you usually go for the Dragunity, you get the Raven, and then you start sending the Spiral, yeah, not the Spiral, but yeah, the Spiral Dragon, let's say, to the graveyard. That way you have more extenders for this combo. But at the same time, there are only 4 minutes remaining, and if everyone remembers BA well, and I don't think anyone could forget about it, Barbar is also an option. They have always been an incredible deck when time was closed, and right now the difference is quite large.
Yeah, I think Matteo had no chance but to activate the Destrudo in that spot.
Yeah, of course, but he really needs to play fast.
Yeah, he really needs to play fast because otherwise he will lose to himself because of the clock.
Yeah. So, It's tough because I can understand it, because on one way you really want to push damage, on the other you can't, so you want to put up negations for the next turn, but then if you do that, your opponent can just not stall, but like play a different approach where they just try and survive one more turn. And it seems like Quentin, although through a Lancia in a Dark Ruler no more, might have the edge.
Yeah, I think this is what is going to happen, because on Quentin's side there's, you know, the Mathematician and both the Block Dragon can really can really cause Matteo some serious problems here. So he's now activating the Dragon Ravine, sending the Collapse Serpent to the graveyard.
Yeah. And now, as expected, you just get to see the same. You can see that Matteo found a way to basically make the same combos with a lot of different cards. No matter which of the extenders and openers he has, he can do the same thing. And now the Levianeer is going to clear the board for Quentin, but no damage can happen. And here is going to be a bunch of chains. And
just a bunch.
That's incredible. And
so we'll special summon one from the graveyard, one from the deck, one for Beatrice effect.
Yeah, this is still far from being over. And as you can see, Appaloosa can only negate one. So he's gonna pretty much chain them the way he wants. And he gets to summon the Pilgrim, which is such an incredible card. He can discard to get a draw, but like it's such a powerful. Because especially the Dark Ruler no more says that you negate the effect of monster your opponent currently controls, which means he might have been able to use the Pilgrim if he had Burning Abyss.
Yeah. So now Matteo is playing really fast, because
Here,
you know the clock is a thing.
Yeah, he's playing it fast, but what can you even do? Like, your opponent still has a lot of freedom.
Do you think he could have forgot the Dark Lures effect?
No, I think he knows about it, but I don't see. I mean, this is the ending board that he always goes for, so I don't think he has that many options.
Yeah.
So he just gets rid of everything in Quentin's hand. He passed turn, but now there is about a minute left, and Quentin has quite a few plays. So can he still find a way to survive this minute?
Let's see if he can find a way. So he has Mathematician.
So Mathematician is the first step. Appaloosa is gonna negate it. Block Dragon is available, and the Jackalope is picked up, which is also a really good draw.
Yeah, this is gonna be super relevant. And here's the Jackalope.
It gets sniped, and then Appaloosa is gonna negate the summon, but here we have Sekka, which can be used. They eat Edge Imp as well.
He had a lot of things going on.
Yeah, he has a lot of options. Now they're obviously going to discuss the time of the plays, but it seems like he had a lot of options, and for now it was completely reasonable. So it is probably what the judge is telling Matteo, because it seems like he declared the Edge Imp.
Yeah, I mean, just some clarification here. Quentin was playing in a considerable amount of time. Yeah, okay, so here comes the Savage Dragon, which is going to negate the effect in graveyard. Let's see what now Quentin decides to do. Bunch of Sego remain. Maybe Matteo can find a way to win this one, do you think? Okay, so he's now going to crush the Mathematician.
Yeah, he's gonna crush the Mathematician, which means he get even one more
He's
draw.
gonna draw.
And as you can see, there are only a bunch of seconds left. He still has the option to possibly go for Sekka and the Block Dragon.
Yeah, this is gonna be
so unless we have a different time, we are gonna still be able to conclude this one, but as we can see, so now they're having a quick check because of what happened before. So let's quickly go back to us. As you can see, the time is frozen. So for now, we have been waiting for a while. There are about 10 seconds left in the clock, but there were kind of an appeal from Matteo because he didn't feel like his opponent was playing at a reasonable pace. And in these kind of situations, we always need to check on the head judge, of course. We don't really have a say on the decision. It seems like they both were taking their time since they're playing very complicated decks. I don't feel like there was too much time going on, but it's not up to us to decide.
Yeah, I mean,
so we'll see what the final decision will be. But regardless of this, I think we can take this match as a big point of view, I guess, like inspiration kind of. I hear a lot of players asking other for advices for deck lists, but I think for both of these guys, this is the proof that if you work hard on something and on a deck which you have some ideas, you can do well with it.
Yeah, both of these guys are proving that on one side, I mean, Matteo is playing a 60-card deck, which is so powerful, playing different archetypes, and on the other side, BA, so still BA, you know what I mean? Like, we have all these different decks, you know, Arceus, Sky Striker, Salamangreat, all these decks that have been, you know, rocking the meta, you know, shotting the field, and right now we have two different decks, so those two players are here, and, you know, they're still undefeated, so this is going to be quite relevant. This match is so much important
no matter
for them.
what happens, it is definitely a great feeling, especially it's such a long and tiring event to end day one being undefeated. I can tell you that it makes a lot of difference just knowing that in day one you only have to win like 1 out of 3 matches. Of course, you should always try and win every match you can, because you never know what can happen, and there are multiple stories. I think you're an expert as well of going like X1 on day one and then not making it to the top cut.
Oh my God,
pay some respect in the chat for my friend over here, but I've had some similar experiences as well, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but anyway, we have to give credit to those guys because this means that they have tested a lot during these past few weeks, and this means that they concentrated themselves on 2 different decks, but they are so good that they didn't want to play like something that most of the players do at the moment. So they really want to find out something quite different, like from the other guys, and they are proving us that they can do it.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
And I do agree with their decision. It's always a matter of what is your goal for the event. If it is to go for the World Championship points, for example, I would suggest going for something more consistent. But if you're aiming at just winning the event and doing super well, then it's also a matter of regrets. You should always try and have the less regrets possible. So if you add the good idea and then you just don't have the courage to bring it to the event and end up playing something too standard and then you don't do well with, I can tell you that's one of the worst feelings, because you add the power and you had the idea there, so taking some risks sometimes pays off, and especially in Milan we can see that that's true, because last year Dinkabui won everything with prank kids.
Which was huge. Like, really. Do you remember back in the days when we tried to find something new, something else beside the meta game? Like 2 years ago with Zodiac, like nobody was playing at the beginning the 60-card Pelio, and then there was the 60-card Infernoid Zodiac, which was a huge deck to play against. Like, it was really difficult to play against those decks
it's always
back in the
something
days.
that you should never be happy with what you already have, which is not like a true, like that's not actually true. It's like kind of a middle ground. Like, you should always be aware of where you're at, but know that there is room for improvement for everyone. Like, I am particularly known for being like having a lot of criticism on what I played. I was never happy. There was probably never once in my life a time in which I was like, okay, this deck is perfect. I have no regrets about it. And that's the level where you should be, because you can always improve on the level of plays and on the deck building, and you should find your time. Of course, it's good to have all your friends when you go to the events on like Friday night and try to get the best out of the minutes you have left. I sometimes changed even during the line for registration.
Yeah, like last minute when we were in the line, so giving the deck list. It's something that happened also to us, like multiple times.
Absolutely.
Also because, like, you know, you want to change your mind. Maybe you think that a card, you should not play the card in that weekend. It happens. It still happens.
Yeah,
it does happen a lot of time.
Again, it's just a matter of goal, a matter of experience.
Yeah.
But I just suggest you guys to keep on trying it and for all of you watching, you can ask any of your friends coming over to these YCS events how good of an experience overall it is, no matter what. I have made some of my best friends in and outside of the game. Unfortunately, one of them being you as well, which I'm stuck with working too now. But I'm joking. But yeah, it's just fantastic. You get to travel, you get to see a lot of places, and at the same time enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! In its finest form. Because at the end of the day, we enjoy having like the freedom in our cards, the meeting the other people.
Yeah, meeting other people, our friends, like every single time. Yeah, of course. Like when you want to compete, you always want to try something new, something different. So you don't really want to be stuck to those decks that people already know. So they really know how to play against them. They know the building. So you know, those decks are already discovered. So there's always something new to play, always something new to test.
Yeah.
So keep going.
And if you are looking at this event and watching the stream or here in the crowd that's gathered around, this is the last event of the year, but this is by far not the last event of the season.
Yeah.
We are probably getting into the most important period of the year. Now the World Championship points are getting interesting. After this event, we will probably have an idea of who is already looking good to make it to the World Championship, but most importantly, regionals are going to be played again after, of course, the break which we all will take during December's Day, Christmas and whatever. But then YCS's national seasons. So it's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Coming up for us during the next months, and you should start planning already for what you will do.
And also the 225th anniversary of YCS,
an
which is
amazing
going to be a
event,
huge
which is
deal.
going to be in Rio, so in Brazil. And you can already go and check that out. We have, I think, in the late, and especially in 2019, a lot of European players have been traveling to North American and South American events, and from what I've been told, those were always fantastic experiences. And I suggest any of you guys to check what our colleagues from over there have been trying to promote. So it's all one big family, let's say.
We personally did a couple back in the days 2 years ago, which was like really funny. New York and Dallas.
So it's really, you can see the differences in a way. It's not the same at all, and it's even one more reason to take a few extra days and just enjoy whatever country you are trying to visit.
Also getting new different experiences with the regionals as well, because like in the US, regionals are like a really huge deal, like 400, 500 players.
It's a completely different world. I believe we have the record like last year in Cologne, when it was in Germany, where it was around 300.
It was around 300.
300 to 400. But that's like a regular regional in the US, and that's just crazy to think about it. And something also important to mention is, which is I think a little obscure to new players, the national championships, which are usually going to be around the period of late April, probably May, throughout the end of June. You can only take, you can only participate in one of them, but you're not forced to go to your own national championship. For example, last year we went to
what we did.
Last year
we did.
We wanted to visit Budapest, which we have never been before. So
why not France?
Yeah. Okay.
Just kidding.
I know. It's unfortunately you don't know all of my properties yet. But you will be able to find out.
But I remember the last year we went together to France. Oh no! I just went lonely.
Let's not talk about that. But we were supposed to be going to the French national last year, but I bailed.
He felt sick.
I pretended to be sick at the last seconds because I didn't really want to. I mean, who wants to spend like a weekend alone with him?
With me, so
you know, guys, you can understand. But yeah, as I was saying, you can pick. So you pick whatever place you want to go. Sometimes it depends on how big the national is. I want to say that the system changed for the World Championship, because a couple of years ago, let's say there were the big fours, which was UK, France, Italy, and Germany. But now that's not a thing anymore, pretty much, and you have the option to go to all of those countries, and all of the players are able to even qualify for the World Championship. We have had Rafael Neven on top of them doing it, but there are a lot of players from all over the world and all over Europe trying to compete for what is probably the ultimate goal in the game.
Yeah, so. I mean, but it's also quite good to see new places. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't have to do your national like in your own country. So if you have the possibility to travel, we both suggest to go abroad and try to visit new places. Like, for example, this year we want to go, I don't know, maybe we will go to another place.
Yeah, hopefully. I definitely want to change it. Like, the goal would be to win all of the different national championships. But I am retired, so
stop it.
That's probably not going to happen ever again. But it's funny. Yeah, it's definitely something to take into consideration, because the community is always something that's open, and you're usually known in your own community. By exploring the differences is something that's pretty good, I would say.
I think you're not just known in your own community, right? Or
no, only in Italy.
Only in Italy, right?
In Italy, yeah.
That's why we're doing commentary this weekend.
Yes, because I'm in Italy. I only work in Italy. I only play.
I only speak Italian.
I only speak Italian, and that's not the case. But if you guys are still wanting some extra content, by the way, as you can see, in between rounds we are showing some interviews and some mini games as well. We had some fun on Friday, but our, let's say, elder, but don't kill me, colleague is Rudy, which is doing an amazing job on the website, where you can find a lot of written coverage. He's actually over 40 years now, I'm joking. But like, his experience is even more than his age. Take it as a compliment. I'm trying. But yeah, overall, in the website, he's doing a fantastic job having interviews. And especially, I think, one of the coolest memories I've got in the game is the top 8 profiles he has. So once you reach top 8 of YCS, you're going to have an exclusive interview with Rudy, where you can pretty much shout out your friends. He's going to ask you about the experiences. He's going to take a picture of you. And I feel like that's something really cool, because sometimes you see people that are there all the time, but it's cool to see someone that, for example, was there years ago and nobody knew. And now it's famous. Like, we've all been through a journey overall, and it's a part of the game. So it's not only about the stream and what we are doing on Twitch and YouTube, let's say. So check it out for sure. In the meantime, we are getting some updates on the match. As we were saying, there are still a couple seconds left, and it is pretty much gonna come down to decide it after all. Because as we were saying, the situation for anyone who just tuned in is that we were in game 3, and time was very close, and there were a lot of
there were a lot of things going on, basically.
Because both of these guys are playing extremely developed combo decks. We have seen Matteo put up like number 38, Apollosa, Hieratic Seal. They're pretty much similar, but they take a lot of time. And sometimes it's not as obvious, and it is definitely up to our judges to take the final decision on any of this subject. So it does make sense that they want to take some extra time to just find out what the decision is. At the same time, both of our players are completely reasonable with each other. They're having just a chat.
Yeah, they're just talking, so they're pretty friendly with each other, which is reasonable. I mean, like, they're both undefeated. One round is remaining, so they have been playing since 11 in the morning, which is totally understandable. So there are a lot of things going on. So they're speaking, they're friendly, everything is fine. I mean,
and there is
this
a lot
is the game.
There is a lot of motivation as well, because even though the season is not over, the last event of the year kind of wraps up who won during that year. This, especially for Italians, I gotta say, there is a lot of pride involved. This is the biggest ever Italian event held, with 1945 players. So it's a huge event, and Italians want to win it.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone wants to, but they want to keep the title within. So Matteo has even extra motivations. But on the other hand, Quentin is representing what is probably the breakout performance country of the year. France showed, especially at the European Championship, that they are a force to be reckoned.
Yeah.
And I think if we count the number of events that were won this year, this will be the deciding event of, let's say, who was the best country of the year. So there is a lot involved. There is points. There is a lot of stake on the line.
Yeah, also because the European Championship final was played by 2 French people. So
yeah. And at the same time, this is the closure of an event, and what that means is that from the next YCS on, the new ordeal will begin, which is not only, of course, a phrase, but it means that if you go to all of the events, you can actually skip one and you still will receive a prize. Here in YCS Milan, we are giving away the Ordeal Traveler mat, which is unique, and you can only get it by attending all of the YCSs. If you skip one, you can still get a mouse pad, which is pretty nice.
It's pretty nice, yeah.
And it features, as we talked about in the welcome video, the new cards, so the new Dragon-made nurse. And if you haven't seen it, it's actually looking quite nice, so you can go on the website or on the Facebook page and check the pictures of it. I'm sure whoever of your friends got it instead of you will be pretty much jealous of keeping it. But
and it's also an extra motivation to go to events. Like it has been since like 4 or 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
It was the first time in YCS Milan, so it is back in the day. It was actually Burning Abyss, which we're still seeing in the day. But then we had a lot of different ones. It was a lot of unique maps, and those always keep both an emotional value because of the journey that you have done. It meant that you have traveled at least usually 4 different countries, competed, and no matter what happened, if you did well, if you didn't, it is still a fantastic experience, because I think it's a privilege to be able to do that, and I have to say I consider myself privileged in the way that I was able to have this experience of traveling all over the world.
Consistently on these events, on these stages, is not easy, not for everybody. So it's a privilege. It's also a huge memory you can bring.
So we just got some news from the judges working on it. Essentially, there is still a debate going on between the head judge and what's going to happen, just to have no mistakes. As you do this in football games, they're going to review the footage, and it's going to take some time because they want to make sure of how much time was actually taken. That's why we're going to go on a short break. We want to keep you guys waiting, and we'll be back soon with the decision from our judges. Keep on watching.
Long ago, in ancient times, a sacred game was played of both spirit and mind. 7 items hold the mystery, puzzle eyes, the rod, scale, and key. Who will make the final stand and make the move? The answer lies in your hand. And whether you win or lose, hangs in the balance with the card you choose. Trust in the heart. The heart of the coward battlefield. Remember to trust in the heart of the coward.
Welcome back to the coverage of YCS Milan 2019. Joined with me as familiar faces you guys should know, Alberto and Marcello. We're going to be doing a his and her question game, as you've already seen. And basically, the way it works, very simply, I will ask a question to both participants, and they will write down the answer that the other person believes to be true. So for example, I'll ask Marcello, what is his favorite fruit? They both write down what they think the answer is, and then we'll reveal it at the same time. Yep, understood? Yep. Easy? All right, cool. So, keeping it Yu-Gi-Oh related, our first one, my first question is going to be, what is Marcello's favorite card of all time? His single favorite card of all time. Bonus points if you can get the set name, or ID or whatever, yes? All right. Are we getting some similar answers here? Okay. Are we ready? Good to go? Yeah. Sure. All right, reveal it on 3. 1, 2, and 3. Very good. Saggy the Dark Clown. Interesting choice. All right, let's get our second question down. We're going to go ahead with, who won your first ever duel between each other in a, let's say, an organized tournament, in an organized tournament setting? Who won the first duel between you two in an organized play setting? Not sure there? No? All right, on 3. 1, 2, and 3. Apparently, we just have an EXO record. Very good. All right. Our next question is going to be, what is Marcello's favorite archetype of all time? His favorite archetype of all time. Within any formats or any tournament play, a deck that Marcello has been playing or has enjoyed to play and revisits over the years. Going with something there, let's see. All right. Okay, and on 3. 1, 2, and 3. So not even close. Not even slightly close. You gave 2 options there, Marcello.
To be honest, it would have been the third choice. We're back.
Short break.
The decision from the VAR was that unfortunately Quentin received a slow play warning, so there will be a 3 minutes extension, and we will proceed from where it was, so we can just go back and jump into the game without taking any more time. Understandable, I don't know, it's they reviewed it, they talked with the players, they talked with the judge, so now there are 3 minutes remaining, as you can see. Quentin is gonna throw a card and they're gonna continue. This can change the game significantly.
Okay,
and,
so now he has time, so 3 times left on the clock. So anyway, now Quentin is continuing to combo, but anyway, he's really looking good for Matteo, because on the other side, his board is huge. But let's see if Quentin can do anything. No, nothing at all. It seems quite over. Not that much he can do in this spot. Things are really looking good for Matteo. And
yeah, now it doesn't seem like he's gonna be able to do much else. And as you can see, just pass back to him. He picked up Cold Body Grave right now.
yeah, I think.
And it seems like all he needs to do is just to put up enough damage, because Quentin doesn't have any way to interact here. And the only line of defense here is the Block Dragon. Cold Body Grave is going to be used. Just randomly on one of the Dantes, and he's going to be able to chain it so that he gets another card to do the rocket.
Yeah, I just want to push more damages as he can.
Yeah. Let's remember that the blocked dragon does have 3000 defense, so he needs to get over it, but it doesn't seem like that's gonna be that difficult to do. Bottles will come down.
Here comes the
handshake is finally there, and Matteo is the winner of this match. Nothing to say, nothing to add. Overall, these guys both proved that their decks are there. Matteo is going to advance with an undefeated record.
Yeah.
It could have gone either way. In the end, it was the decision from our team that led to this, but congratulations to both. Quentin still in the event, still doing well with an X11 record. He's still completely able to make to the event. But as you can understand, we have all of our other matches finished and ready. We don't want to keep you guys waiting. We want to show you guys more action and more duels, but us are gonna step away. This was our last match for the day. We're gonna end the ball to our lovely colleagues Farfa and Tom.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching. No interview for this round, as understandable, and see you